Alright guys, what's up? This is CroixDawg, and we are going to record a session today. Probably going to last about an hour and 30 minutes. And I'm just going to record a continuous session, probably split up into 2 or 3 videos, and just show you what a typical session's like. We got 2 tables popping up. We have a 550 on PokerStars and a 500 on Full Tilt. So we're going to start off playing pretty aggressive like we always do, and get a feel for this player. Player's name doesn't look familiar, so we're going to try to test him out early. I like making these 4x raises from the big a lot. Usually a c-bet on the flop will take it down. Usually make that 3-4 spot, and it wins. I'm going to register another 520 on Full Tilt. Hopefully get a good string of matches running. We're sitting 2 500s and 2 1Ks. And if it gets too hectic, then we'll unregister from those for a little bit. On PokerStars, we're sitting, well, our 550 just filled. We're going to sit another 550. I want to check this flop behind. I don't really want to... hand's got a lot of showdown value, and he seems like the kind of guy who will just check it down. So we're fine checking it down. And also, we'll show him that he thinks we're raising good hands. So, not really familiar with this guy in the 550 either, Mr. Miserable. Might have played him once or twice, but not really familiar with his game. And he hates people apparently, so maybe he is actually miserable. Alright, we got 2 kings. This is the first raise he's put in on us. We're going to pot it and expect him to call pretty often. And going to fire out 260, a little over 2/3 pot. And if he has any piece, calling. And now we really want to get this hand in, not beat too often. Make it 460. A little over half pot again. Not really threatened by that river. Actually, not a good river, but we're not folding our hand ever. And expect him to have diamonds a decent amount, which he must have. Or possibly a hand like 6-7. Tough to think that he'd insta that pre-flop, but there are a lot of players that do interesting things. So we got a nice lead on him, and I'll show you guys how I typically play against the shorter stacks. I'm just gonna pot this. Definitely want to get this hand in all day. Up against ace-8, we'll see what we can hold. And we did. A lot of times I will like to limp more average hands there, like 10-9 suited. I don't really want to raise and have them shove, especially after a person has lost a lot of pots in succession like he has. Gonna get frustrated easily. I don't really want him shoving with King X, Ace X. So I really like to control that and see how he responds to that initially. Like the raise, or just flatting the 10-9 of diamonds, and if he checks behind and wants to give me some flops, then I'll just try to min bet him and grind a stack down that way. If he's the kind of guy who every time I limp will shove, then I'll try to trap with an ace or a pair and limp like that. But that's generally my strategy. I don't really like raising those pretty looking hands like 10-9, Jack-10. I will often raise King-Queen, and with the intention of getting that in with 20 big blinds. A 224 man is filled, and I'm sitting with Frank Thomas 8, who I think is a very good player. And the reason for doing this is just to increase volume. A lot of times, especially now in the landscape of higher stakes heads up sit and goes, there are a lot of we're just going to fold this king high. Don't really think he's bluffing too often. There are a lot of people sitting, taking up lobbies. Like this 1000's taken, the 330. Well, I'm sitting in that. The 300's taken, the 230's taken, and a lot of those people you become friends with just through talking on Instant Messenger and whatnot, and you don't really want to play your friends. So I like sitting 4-mans. Usually softer competition sits with us because they don't really want to have to tackle playing two good players. Better players don't. And just an action builder. And try racking up those VPPs. Gonna 3-bet the jacks here against Mr. Miserable. Calls pretty quickly. Not a terrible flop for us. We're gonna continuation this. And he just calls, which is a little threatening. Check behind the turn, see how he responds. I'm going to call this and see what he does on the river. It's kind of curious. This feels like an ace a lot, but especially with the amount of time he's pausing. But then again, we already put about half of our stack in. It's going to be tough to fold. We can pretty much eliminate a 4 from his, we can eliminate a 4 from his range. 2 6s is possible. Ace is pretty likely here, but we've put in our stack, so we only need to be right a fairly small percentage of the time compared to that, and I could see him bluffing here, so I think we're going to stack off the 2 jacks if he does have the ace. And from previous videos, you guys know I like to peel. Gonna fire off another barrel here against Alcaros. So yeah, we're gonna call and we'll peel to see if we lost. All right, 7, 9, 7. All right. So that was situation. Didn't really feel too good about it. Just based on that turn bet sizing, that was a little bit less than a half pot, and that seemed like a little bit of a thought out bet. So I didn't really feel too great about it, but again, it's just a situation. Not folding. So. We'll get the queen high in against him. Start making these tables fit. All right, we're racing against 3s, and it's going to be a tough one to win. But we did somehow miracle chop it, so it's exciting. All right, we just had a 330 fill. I'll jam this 10 high and against him. We want to be getting him in, putting him all in when he just has this sort of AB stack. I don't really want to call here with 9 high, but we're getting a pretty nice price, so we will. Let's see what lobbies we have. Set another 4-man with Frank. Okay, now we have a lot of tables up right now, so we're going to unregister from, don't want things to get too hectic. Like we just sat out at that. And that's pretty, I'm usually pretty solid with the multi-tabling, but 5 I don't have too much experience with, so shoving in the jack high here against him. Looks like he doubled through again. Okay, he's betting out full pot here at us. Shove the ace-8. For future videos, anything you guys really want to see, any level you guys want to. Wow, we can't really call here with our top pair. It's a pretty scary board. For the future, any videos you guys want to see, you can just email me, CroixDawg at HeadsUp.com, and I'd be happy to just take requests on what kind of videos you guys want to see. So we're gonna win this Jack-10 hand and finish off Mr. Miserable finally. Now down to four tables, which will be a little bit easier to focus. And it looks like we have some dwindling stacks, so we're gonna have to do something to combat that. Like to make that early in a match. I like to make these four X-rays with hands like very pretty hands. Flop middle pair. Follow it up with this continuation bet. Don't really think he has a queen here too often, so I'm going to bet again for value. And he called again. Now a lot of the draws all pretty much missed, except for a hand like 6-3 diamonds, ace-3 diamonds. So I'm just going to check call a rare bet from him. These are interesting spots to get in with 2 7s here. A lot of players will just jam this in. I don't really know many that'll fold, so I'm just going to call. I don't really want to jam it in this early against him, and I think we can be a lot better off seeing where we're at on the flop bet. Pretty strong flop bet, 2 overcards. On this table, we're going to fire out a bet, committing us to the pot. Never folding a pair and a flush draw against his style anyways. We rivered 2 pair. I'm just going to fold these 7s. And we're going to jam in here. We're up against a double gutter, so we won that hand. I like to keep pretty aggressive against players that just lost a big pot. Remember we had the 10-9 up here, and he just lost that pot. So we're gonna keep firing here. If he has a king, I fully expect him to come along with us. I expect him to probably call another street with ace high after that last hand, and a diamond draw, or any lesser 7s obviously getting it in, and a diamond draw is going to come with too. So I like betting out there. Alright. Looks like we had a little internet trouble there. I think we're good now. Bet out almost full pot. And like I said, I expect a king to come along. I expect a flush draw to call after him losing that pot. And he did call. We're gonna start getting aggressive up here because we've let this guy run us over a little bit. And we're just gonna open shove. A king's gonna call us, and a 7's gonna call us, and a flush draw is not. Flop second pair here, content with just, and he did call us with the king. Content with just checking it down here if he'll let us, and we should win the pot, yes. Okay, so that was a win in a 330. And we just had a 224 man fill again. I'm going to stay aggressive here against Alcaraz. And just fold. Not going to get tricky. Really early in the match. Not worth it. Going to call here. I'm pretty curious. We rivered our king. Pretty curious as to what he has. I don't think he had an ace there. Up here, interesting spot with the 2 4s. I think that we have a lot of fold equity here. This being our first shove, I think it's a pretty big boost to our stack. So I don't think he's going to call this often at all. And the chance we're up against a bigger pair is not very high, and a lot of fold equity, and he did fold. I do the same probably after seeing that 4x raise, probably with a lot of different pairs, an ace king, an ace queen kind of hand. We'll defend here. The blinds just went up with 8-7 suited, flop 2 pair. This might be a gin card for us. Praying he has an ace, and can't really put a 6 in his range, so bet him for value there. We're going to 3-bet here with the 2 kings. And I just love it. I like open shoving here with the deuces. Make him make a decision to call. And he did with the 8-7 suited. An alright flop for us. Turn's a little bit scary. And he rivered a straight. Going to commit ourselves here with this king-jack. Not really folding. That's pretty concerning, but again, not folding. We ran into 2 aces. So that wasn't a very fun match. But we'll gladly play him again. Gonna jam this ace-9 here. I expect him after he called with after he beat us into that pot, which probably was a tilt call, but after he beat us into that pot with the 8-7 suited, I'd very much expect him to call lighter. Okay, let's see what we're registered in on full tilt. We got 2 500s running. We got 1 running on stars. Again, I love that. I love that 4x from the big blind. I really like using that against a lot of players because C-bet will take it down pretty high percentage of the time. That's how you just chip away and frustrate your opponents. And you don't really want to use it too much against. See, he's jamming all in at the 10-20 level. So, gonna bet this king now for value. Can't really call here. Can't call there. That Jack 10 completed. I expect that to be a flush, a lot more so than not. Interesting spot down here. The sizing of this raising doesn't appear to be too strong. So I'm gonna jam in here with our top pair. Again, we've been 3-betting this guy a lot, and he was just committing himself with the draw, which got there. But that bet sizing was a little unusual. You wouldn't expect someone to do that with with a higher queen. Like you'd probably want some action more so than just scaring it away. I'm just gonna float here with the 8 high, see what he's doing, and don't really like this raise, but such a small raise. We'll try to peel a nice flop. Not nice enough, so we'll just fold. I'm gonna start getting aggressive up here against the AKI mix. These are tough hands to play. I'm going to elect to jam it because I think it's probably profitable. I don't think he's going to call too often, and if he does call, I don't think he probably won't have a higher pair too often. So I like jamming it. Sometimes I'll just flat it, and he does have a higher pair. He has 2 aces, so not good timing there. And now we're down to 920. Yeah, just a kind of unlucky spot. I kind of wish I flat called looking back at that, but hindsight's 2020. All right, we got some 550, I believe. This was the guy who called off with King 10 a little earlier. Gonna jam here with King High with our stack, and he beats us into the pot with Queen High. Pretty good flop for us. Backdoor hard draw for him. Worst turn in the deck, and he just rivered a straight flush. So that hand sucked. Nothing we can really do. Just gonna call with the ace deuce. Lead out for 60 on the turn. And we'll bet 120 on the river. Probably won't call us with a 10. We'll call us with the king. If he was calling with King High. Don't really have too much faith in his skill level, but he raised us. He's given us fits so far this match. I think I'm going to play it pretty passively and fold. Jamming this ace king up here. Could be a slow played 6 and a decent percentage of the time. And we'll just save those chips. Get some a nice double up here with our ace king. So we're having a pretty rough go about it this session so far. But it's important to keep mentally focused at all times. Like though we took that Queen 9 straight flush beat. Nothing you can do there. When we put him in ahead, that's all you can really ask for. So just take him in stride. We'll try to crush some faces here. This is the guy who was called us down with the king high last time, so we're gonna bet out pretty quick here. and expect him to call us with a 9 or a flush draw. I'm going to call with the bottom pair here. Not necessarily a believer. We'll check the river. Trying to think of a good bet size that he'll call with one pair. I like 380, and he folds. So most likely a flush draw. Against this opponent who's run us over, leading out when we flop trips. Going to bet pretty quick when this ace comes. A lot of times when people bet out fast, when a card like that hits, you don't believe it. So I'm just going to shove quick and expect to get called here with an 8 or an ace. Defend here with the 9-7. Pretty standard for me. I'll pretty much always call like that. And flopped a pair and a flush draw. We're just gonna play it. Not gonna play it too fast because it really is not that pretty of a flush draw in the hand. Pretty heavy bet. Don't really want to tango with it, so we're just gonna fold. These fives up here. He's been jamming really a lot. I wouldn't be surprised for him to have an ace-4, ace-3, ace-deuce, or lower pairs. I don't really think. I think that his range of higher pairs is 6s through 9s. Don't think any higher. I think we're going to be racing a lot, so I'm going to call here. I do expect to see an ace-4, ace-3 a lot, and 4s. So we're in pretty good shape here. Alright, pretty safe flop for us here. 5-5-5, bet 250, and if he does call, we're going to jam the turn. And just hope he didn't make quads, and he was probably just calling us there with a king high, a hand like that. Just don't really like defending 3 bets with ace-x, hands like that, so just let him have those. Now I'll cut our first video and start another one up in a little bit.